Hey guys, it's Palps. Today I wanted to talk to you about why you're not progressing. I actually recorded this whole thing and was rambling on for like 15 minutes and realized it stopped recording. So love that. Um, but yeah, I guess what I wanted to talk about is I feel like millennials and maybe some Gen Z. I know the younger workforce generations at this really um, interesting point with the emergence of COVID, the war in Ukraine. Um, Inflation, this anti-work movement. I feel like a lot of millennials are reaching this point. I know I am, where you're hitting your late 20s and your 30s, and you've been out of school for a while. You're working, and you're kind of hitting this kind of quarter life plus life crisis where you're thinking, is this it for the rest of my life? Is this what I'm going to be doing? Is this the end? And I feel like a lot of people are acknowledging that and trying to figure out what they want to do. I mean, we have the emergence of like side hustles being huge, um, and people being very entrepreneurial. And I think that's great. And but I still feel like a lot of people are stuck in this rut where they're doing the kind of salaried, stayed 9 to 5, and with the anti-work movement on Reddit. A lot of people are kind of pissed off with the kind of old school way of thinking and doing that. You work 9 to 5, 40, 50-hour weeks, and then you just do that, try and take as little sick days as you can and retire at 65. And that might have been an old school kind of boomer way of doing it, but I don't really think that's the way anyone wants to live right now. Um, and I know I've been feeling this too, where with my current job, maybe I've been working there for several years and it's just not lighting you up. There's not that passion and energy that there used to be. And what I'm learning is that that's okay. And I feel like, especially with a lot of men, not saying this isn't a thing with female, but super purposeful, mission driven guys, they'll find something and do it crazy dedication, 100% full energy. And there comes a point when you've leached all the that you can from that. And it kind of bores you at that point and it's time for your next challenge. I feel like, maybe this is bullshit, but I feel like that's kind of the nature of that energy. You suck what you can from it and you learn all you can and you're like, cool, I got that. I'm ready for my next challenge. And I think that um, with society bringing you up as kindergartner, what do you want to be when you grow up? It's like, I want to be a fireman, and you live with that narrative your entire life, and then you hit working age, and there you go, you're a fireman, and you might do that, and you're like, damn, you feel really conflicted if it doesn't gas you up like it used to. Or you do that and you're like, man, is this the rest of my life? And that's how we were raised. And you kind of hit this feeling where you're going against your identity um, if you veer from what you're supposed to be. And I feel like that can cause a lot of depression because you have this inner turmoil that doesn't want to do that anymore. And they say that's like depression in an eggshell. Like you don't want to live with the lie that you've created for yourself anymore. You don't want to keep faking it. Um, and I think that from what I've learned, I've been looking at self-help stuff and watching YouTubers and trying to figure out what I want to do because I'm in a similar situation where I'm working and I'm just like not feeling it anymore with my current job. I got 6 years of an education towards this um, line of work to prep for it, and it's just not doing it for me anymore. And one thing I've studied is and kind of realized is it's perfectly okay to let go of that identity you've created to explore something new. You're always going to have that. You can always go back to what you're doing. And maybe it's like something different within the same field. Maybe it's a slight minor change. That's not even a big deal. But I think life is going to be um, these obstacles of boredom, complacency, and you have to push yourself out of that comfort zone, tread that fringe of fear constantly to try new things and take some minor risks, because that's where you're going to be most happy. That's where you're going to challenge yourself and overcome and feel great sense of gratitude. And it's going to be super rewarding and thrilling. And plus, it's refreshing to try something new and be excited about it, and learn from it. And I think another great thing is you're going to try this stuff, and yeah, you might fail, but you always have your old job or your old career to go back as a fallback. And you should be failing, because the next time around, you're just going to do that much better because you've learned so much. And even if it's something you don't want to do, you know for a fact that that's not what you want to do. You can cross it off the list, and your options just got smaller to narrow in on something that you're really gonna like. And I think it's important to really evaluate yourself and see how complacent you've gotten. Am I too comfortable? You know, they say the salary is the drug that keeps you from living your dreams because it's safe. You know what I mean? And I think everyone needs to really take some risks and take some action. I know Tony Robbins says, knowledge is not power, knowledge is potential power, execution is power. So I think whatever you can do to muster up the courage to like just put yourself out there and try something different, I think that's going to help you immensely. And I feel like people need to look past the identity they've created for themselves. Another thing I wanted to talk about is why you're not progressing is the self-help industry. I've definitely read tons of self-help books. I've watched probably all the YouTubers who do that, the self-help genre, and there's some great stuff and great information. But I feel like, especially in our generation, that a lot of people are kind of getting caught in a whirlwind of self-help, and self-help is becoming their passion and their purpose, the art of studying it, because it's gratifying when you're getting some sort of answer or solution. You feel like you're making progress on your whole in life and where you're failing or trying to search for answers. And actually the pursuit of self-help as a, educational tool becomes your purpose. And so you're kind of doing this thing where you're just reading and researching and you're not actually doing anything. I know these self-help guys have probably found themselves in that hole, and they found teaching what they've learned as their purpose. And I think that's great, but I don't think everyone can do that. I even had a thought of like, oh, maybe I can do it. Shit, I'm doing it like kind of right now, but um, I think what helped me is I kind of stopped doing that, and I tried to take the knowledge and what I'm learning and really look at how that fit in my life, my profession, my group of friends, and tried to tailor that information into a list of things I could execute in my day-to-day life. And I think it's been really helpful so far. But don't get caught in that loop of self-help of reading and just not doing anything, because I think I've been there and it happens. Um, I have a buddy who was reading a bunch of like kind of PUA stuff with girls, and he was just like talking all about it. And it was just funny because like I'm like, dude, you've read like 4 books on it and you haven't talked to like one girl. But he felt like he was making progress. So I mean, I'm just saying, um, be careful with that information. It's super helpful and it's good to know, and it's always great to read and study and like better yourself. But one way you can do that is, instead of diving into that self-help stuff, you can maybe start taking that information and study and applying it to books or podcasts or stuff that is within a field or genre of work that you'd be really interested in doing. Um, maybe it's a side hustle or an experiment or a changing career path or something to get you energized with, your current work or something. And I think that'd be a great experience for you to do. But I feel like those are a lot of reasons why, you know, our generation isn't progressing, or why you feel like you're not progressing. I think everyone's just hitting this kind of natural plateau and wall of what am I doing with my life? And it's just, I think it's something that every generation has experienced, but it's different now just because previous generations didn't have the influence of social media and technology like we do now. And then COVID, like timing it right there perfectly. And I think we all just need to remember it's okay to change your career path or go do something completely different than the narrative you've created for yourself, and just to remember to give yourself little challenges and executable tasks to do that day that put you just a little bit out of your comfort zone. And I think a lot of great things are going to happen for you all. So, anyway, that's it, guys. Yeah, I'll talk to you on the next one. See ya.